You watch someone command a room with just a few words. Everyone leans in when they speak, listens, remembers what they said long after the conversation ends. Meanwhile, you talk more, much more, and people's eyes glaze over. They nod politely while planning their exit. You're saying more, but they're hearing less. And you can't figure out why your words don't land when theirs do with half the effort. It's not about volume. It's not about being louder or funnier or more impressive. It's about weight, and weight comes from knowing when to speak and when to stay silent, from saying exactly what you mean without decoration, from being so present that your words carry the force of your attention behind them. Most people think attraction is about addition. Be smarter, funnier, more charismatic. Fill every silence with something interesting. But the Stoics knew different. Attraction isn't about what you add, it's about what you remove. Stop performing. Stop seeking approval in every sentence. Stop feeling silence because you're uncomfortable with it. The moment you stop needing attention is the moment you start getting it. This isn't manipulation. These aren't tricks to get people to like you. This is about communicating in a way that reflects actual character instead of manufactured charisma. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be." Be one. The same applies here. Don't perform interest. Be interesting through how you speak and how you don't. Today, I'll show you 6 communication principles, each demonstrated through specific words and phrases that make people want to be around you, not because you're performing, because you're present. Number 4 is the one people get backwards. They think saying more makes them more interesting. It does the opposite. If you're tired of talking without being heard, let's begin. Phrase. Phrase 1. Tell me more about that. Number 1. Tell me more about that. 4 simple words, but watch what they do. Someone mentions they just started learning guitar. Most people immediately respond with their own experience. "Oh, I played guitar in college. Let me tell you about my band." Or, "You should try this method I used." They hijacked the conversation, turn it back to themselves. The other person was opening a door. You walk through it talking about your house instead of exploring theirs. Now they're listening to you talk about something they didn't ask about, waiting politely for you to finish so they can either reattempt their story or just give up entirely. You do this differently. They mention the guitar. You say, "Tell me more about that." Then you stop talking. You actually listen. Not the fake listening where you're planning your response. Real listening, where you're curious about what they're going to say next. And here's what happens. They light up because most people spend their entire lives waiting for someone to actually want to hear what they have to say. Not waiting for their turn to talk. Not pretending interest while thinking about something else, actually wanting to know. This isn't a trick. You can't fake genuine curiosity. People feel the difference between performed interest and real attention. If you're not actually curious, don't ask. Silence is better than fake engagement. But when you are curious, when someone mentions something and you genuinely want to know more, those 4 words open everything. They talk longer, go deeper, share things they don't usually share because they're not used to someone actually caring about the answer. And here's the part people miss. They don't remember what you said in that conversation. They remember how you made them feel. Feeling heard is rare. Feeling like someone actually wants to understand you, not just wait for their turn to perform, that's even rarer. So when they leave that conversation, they're not thinking, "Oh, wow, that person was so interesting," and they're thinking, "Oh, wow, I felt interesting talking to them." And that feeling, that's what makes them want to talk to you again. Epictetus taught his students, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. He understood that listening isn't passive, it's active. It's where real connection happens. You're not there to be impressive, you're there to be interested. And interest, genuine, unhurried interest in what someone else is saying, is magnetic in a world where everyone's performing. Watch what changes. Conversations go deeper faster. People open up to you in ways they don't with others. You become the person they seek out when they want to talk about something real. Not because you gave great advice or told fascinating stories, because you made them feel heard. That's the power in those 4 words, not in saying them, in meaning them. The second phrase people avoid because they think it makes them look weak. It does the opposite. Phrase number 2, phrase 2, I don't know. No. 3 words most people are terrified to say. Someone asks your opinion on something you're not familiar with. Your instinct is to fake it, make something up that sounds intelligent, deflect with a vague answer that could mean anything. Dance around the fact that you have no idea what you're talking about. Because admitting ignorance feels like admitting weakness, like you're less than, like you should know this. And the fact that you don't means something's wrong with you. But watch what actually happens when someone fakes knowledge. You're in a conversation, they're asked about something they don't know, but instead of saying so, they manufacture an opinion, and you can feel it. The answer has that hollow quality, words that sound right but mean nothing. They're performing confidence they don't have, and now you're wondering if they're willing to fake certainty about this. What else are they faking? Can I trust anything they say with conviction? The fake knowledge doesn't make them look smart. It makes them look insecure, like they need you to think they know everything. Now watch someone who's actually confident. Same question. They pause, then I don't know, that's it. No explanation about why they don't know. No apology for their ignorance. No deflection to something they do know. Just 3 words delivered calmly, like it's not a crisis, that there's something they're not an expert in. And immediately you trust them more because if they're honest about what they don't know, they're probably honest about what they do know. Their certainty when they have it means something. They're not performing, they're just being straight with you. This is what Socrates understood when he said, I know that I know nothing. It wasn't false humility, it was the recognition that wisdom begins with admitting the limits of your knowledge. Insecure people need to appear knowledgeable about everything. Confident people are comfortable saying, I don't know, because their value isn't tied to having every answer. They're secure enough to admit when they don't. Here's what changes when you start using these 3 words honestly. People relax around you. They're not competing with your ego anymore. They're not bracing for you to one-up them with superior knowledge. And when you do speak with certainty, when you actually know what you're talking about, they listen because you've established that you don't just say things to sound smart. You say things because they're true. Your words carry weight because you've proven you're willing to admit when they don't. The trap is using I don't know as false humility. Oh, I don't know anything about that. Followed by a paragraph demonstrating you actually know quite a bit. That's just another performance. When you don't know, say it. Then either stay quiet or if you're genuinely curious, I don't know, want to figure it out together. But don't fake ignorance and don't fake knowledge. Both are performances. Just be honest about what you know and what you don't. That honesty is more attractive than any amount of manufactured expertise. If you've said I don't know this week when you could have faked it, if you chose honesty over performing expertise, comment I chose truth below, not to announce what you admitted you didn't know, just to mark the moment you valued being honest over being impressive. That choice, repeated quietly, is what builds real trust instead of fake authority. The third phrase saves you from the trap most people fall into when someone shares a problem. Phrase number 3. Phrase 3. That sounds difficult. That sounds difficult. Someone shares a problem with you. Work's been overwhelming. Their relationship is struggling. They're exhausted trying to keep everything together. And your first instinct, the thing everyone does, is to immediately offer solutions. Have you tried? What if you just, when I was dealing with that, you think you're being helpful. You're not. You're dismissing them because what they heard wasn't, here's a solution. It was, this is simple. Why haven't you figured it out yet? Most people don't share problems because they want you to fix them. They share because they need to be heard, because they've been carrying something heavy, and just saying it out loud to someone who actually listens makes it lighter. But when you jump straight to solutions, you're telling them their struggle isn't that complicated, that if they just did this obvious thing you thought of in 5 seconds, the problem they've been living with for months would disappear. And now they feel worse. Not only do they still have the problem, now they feel stupid for not having solved it with your simple solution. Watch what happens instead when you say, that sounds difficult. 3 words. You're not fixing, you're not minimizing, you're not comparing it to your own experience. You're just acknowledging that what they're going through is hard, and that acknowledgement, that simple